Welcome back to C8 Corvette tutorial in Solidworks, and this is going to be part 23. Um, in the last tutorial, in part 22, we mirrored our bodies over to the other end and it created some knits to be able to mirror over. And then on the thumbnail, I left it as purple, but actually I changed the color to blue. But everything is the same, so nothing has been changed. So in this tutorial, we're going to be focusing on creating this body surface here. So we're going to focus on creating this surface here, yeah, all the way on this edge, down on here, and then this section here. And then once we have this section here, we're gonna be able to finish up this small part here, and maybe putting the side skirts, slip, something on there. And then once we have this surface here on both ends, then it's gonna give us some great references for the rest of the vehicle. So I'm also planning to work on the windshield, on the front windshield in this tutorial. So let's get to it. So to start with, I just realized that this line here should go up in an angle. So we're going to fix that. So we're gonna go back to our feature tree here, and then because I mirrored some stuff over, I want to take those things off. So I want to delete this mirror. It's just much easier on the model itself. And I'm going to delete this knit. I'm going to delete some surfaces here again, but that's fine. Doing things over and over is just a good practice always. So close that, and then this is the sketch that caused that pop-up. So delete that sketch, right? And then let's jump over to our first display state here. And the reason why we deleted these bodies again is because this line here, I bring that straight, and it should be in an angle because this thing sits on that ledge. So I'm going to call it ledge, right? So let's click on this curve here, and then let's edit that curvature. So it's going to be this line here. And we already have our control polygons sitting on that curvature. So let's just make this line straight in a curvature fashion. All right, so that looks pretty straight to me. And it will go up this way. We can move it a little bit up somewhere here, and this will move that way, right? And let's move this nodes up a little bit, and something like that. So let's make it as straight as possibly we can, right? So this is going to be sitting on this ledge once that's done. Okay, so I'm happy with this one, and if you look in from the top, just to make sure that we are still on target. Maybe we can edit a little bit on these lines as well, just a little bit. It's more straight instead of a curve. Okay, and then so that looks good. I just double check again from the side view here, and that looks good for us, right? Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to exit this edit, sketch edit, or curve edit. I'm going to make a sketch on the front plane. Let's flip the back around. I'm going to make a line from this corner. I'm gonna go all the way up that far, and I'm going to exit this sketch. I'm just going to go to surfaces and trim surface, and I'm going to trim this surface away here. I shouldn't press X. So jump to surface here and get that small piece out of there. So we have more room for our curvature, right? And one goes up like that, and goes up like this. Okay, so let's now try and add our boundary surface here. And we're gonna go from here to here. And we're just going to add a tangency to face to this area. Tangency to face, curvature to face, direction to vector. No, not that one. So we want tangency to face here. Okay, so once it greens, you know that it's registered. So that's good. Let's press OK on that. And then now we have a nice tangent body on that section there. Okay, so let's make this section here now. So let's jump to second display state. And I want to see this line here. So I'm going to jump in here. I'm just going to click on this edge. And then that curvature is going to be 3D sketch 126. Or it's going to be show 120, right? So 3D sketch 120. And that's a nice curvature right there. Okay, and then so just going to make this area here. So just going to grab a 3D sketch on that 3D curvature from this edge down to this curve here. And then I'm just gonna jump to the rear view here, and then is going to give some profile to this curvature in this area here, something like that. So that will work for us. So maybe it's a little bit curvature on the downwards, something like that. So exit this one. Okay, and then so that goes from that corner down to this corner here. That's where that's touching. So let's go to surfaces here and boundary surface, and then from this line, not that one. So clear selections, and I'm gonna choose this edge to this line here. Obviously, we need to flip the connector. So hover over the pin connector and just flip it over, and then just zoom in, and then bring this connector until you see the black dot. And then obviously we're going to bring this into this point here. And then we don't need to add any tangency to that one. So just for direction 2, let's just choose this curvature here and then press OK. Right. And that looks now fantastic, right? So this is how we should have done it in the first place. So we have the curvature here running here, and then everything as it should look, right? Okay, so let's hide some lines here that we don't need. Let's hide that line. Then let's hide this line, and let's hide this line as well. Okay, and then let's connect together some of these surfaces here. We might take it out, but for now let's connect it together. I'm not going to mirror over anything. So let's connect these two surfaces together. All right, and then I'm not going to connect. No, you know what? Let's connect that together as well. Okay. Come on. And this surface here, right? Let's press OK. All right, that's good. All right, so let's jump over to our first display state here, and then let's jump into this view here. And obviously, we need to extend this surface because this section here will sit on this ledge. So we want to make that surface come out a little bit longer, and then we can also trim back afterwards. Okay, so let's grab a extend surface here, and then select that edge, this edge, and this edge down here. And let's come in here and then see if there's something here that we need to select. So same surface. Let's try linear here. Or let's try extend surface, and let's try from the lower section. All right. Okay, so like my PC is thinking. Okay, so now it's good, right? So same surface, and then we're going to pull it out to about that far, and then so that section can sit on that edge, and then that will give us the reference points for that section. Okay, so press OK on that. Okay, and then we're just gonna look at this surface here, and that surface looks beautiful. All right, so let's now create this section here, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to add a blue gloss on the whole door assembly, so we can see through it and see where everything lines up. So basically, we're gonna go from this edge point here all the way up to this point here, and this from the side view, it's going to look like a straight surface, and then from the other end, we're going to introduce this corner here, and then obviously afterwards, then we're going to cut out or trim out this profile here from that section. All right, so let's jump over to 3D sketch, and then we're going to grab a 3D point, and then we're going to place that point somewhere here because it goes like that. Okay, and the second point obviously is going to fall somewhere here. Right. And then now just we're going to grab a curve, and then we're going to try to create some spline points here, so we can work with it. Try not to snip to any edges here with these spline points. So that's probably enough spline points itself already. So let me click on that, and let's add our control polygons, and let's bring up these nodes. Okay, so now we can see our nodes, and let's make this line from this view at this point straight. Okay, and then once we made that straight, obviously we need to create probably it's got one corner that we need to clear. Okay, so this corner is here, this corner here, so it's going to be as obviously straight, and then we need to create this corner here, and there's not much of a corner down here, but the cut actually will create that for us. However, we can possibly introduce this corner afterwards, but so yeah. Yeah, so we're going to focusing on this surface, and then as I said, this corner here. Okay, so from this side it's relatively straight, and then um, we need to focus on this angle here. Okay, so now I'm going to, excuse me, now I'm going to jump to the top here, and I want to pull this line out here, something like that. So I pull this, and so basically it goes like here. That's that line. It's running across there, and obviously our corner is gonna be somewhere here. Okay. So let's adjust these curvature here so that we have that corner showing there, and then so basically it's all pulled together here, so we can create a nice sharp-ish corner on that section here. So from these connectors here that were quite close to each other, we know that these are going to be the corners, and then right, so it goes in there, so like that, right? So now let's jump back to the side view here, and of course it lost our straightness here, but we will adjust that, and then we'll jump back again to the top to try to find the best possible tolerance to our curvature here. So we want to keep this straight here, and of course we want to make this we're gonna have to play with this curvature, you know, as much as possible. So the more better your curvature, obviously, the better the surface will be. So we are almost getting there, as we can see. So the model will actually tell us, the blueprint will tell us how the model actually wants to be. So let's have a look again from the side. So yeah, we just need to pull back down this area here, make it straight. Okay, and now I'm going to jump into second display state here. And in the second display state, we only see the blue. So I'm going to take off this appearance here. So take off this appearance, remove the appearance. And then I'm going to change the backdrop to a darker color so we can see these edges a little bit better. And maybe I bring in our shaded with lines so we can see things a lot better. So here we can see already that this needs to come out a little bit more. So let's jump to the back here, and let's get these lines out. If I can click on our control polygon, so right, and then of course we need to get the corner onto this area here. So let's jump to the side here, and let's pull up some of these nodes here. So we're trying to add that corner onto this area here. Of course, we want to keep it straight. And again, we're going to trim out this profile, so you don't need to be exact here, because when we trim out, that will give us the profile that we're looking for. So yeah, we are already starting to see our shape here. Let's just bring this a little bit more in here, and keep those connectors close to each other like that, and leave this a little bit of profile. and then jump back into the front view. Maybe we can see things a little bit more better from there, and then that will be that surface right there. So let's jump to the top. I think we can see something from there. Yeah. So that's already starting to give us the surface that we are looking for here. Okay. So I think that looks good from my perspective. Let's have a look at the picture here. Right. So let's just zoom in here. Come on. Right. So that comes out to about that far. So not too much, you know. I think we are on spot with this curvature here. We have a low. So I think that's pretty good. Let's just have a look from this surface so that we're not going actually through the surface. We do have space underneath that. Okay. So why don't you make this curvature as this one here, and then we will have a good surface, and you will have a good surface. Okay. So I'm going to leave this curvature as it is, and then we're going to have a look how does it look once we get to that stage. So I'm going to exit this sketch, and then the next sketch I'm going to make is going to be first. Let's jump into the first display state here, and we still have the glass here, so let's remove that glass for now. And then I'm going to make a sketch on the front plane. And I want to grab this surface here, the wheel arch, because that's a good reference to go from to this surface here. Okay, so let's make a curvature, a spline on this surface here. So it goes up to this point here. But I want to be sure that we are straight. So I'm going to press a converted entities here. I'm going to pull this line out just for reference. And I'm going to grab that curvature now, that spline, and I'm going to start from here. Actually, we want to start from the outer one, outer edge, and start from here to this point. And I'm going to pull this thing in place. All right, so something like that. All right, that looks good. Maybe we can play with this a little bit. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm going to exit this sketch. We're going to actually, let's go back in here and let's trim out these sketch there that converted entities. Press OK and exit the sketch. And then let's make a sketch on the top plane, normal to profile. And I'm going to grab a spline from here to here. To give this spline a profile. And put this one here. And that's the rims, of course. That's a good profile right there. And exit this sketch here. And is this projection curve. So sketch on sketch. Grab this line and then press OK. All right, so that's the first one, and we want to bring back that sketch that we can use for the second curve here. That's the lower one that is here. So let's bring that in and show that. And we're going to make a second sketch on the front plane, and then yeah. So let's bring that line back. I shouldn't deleted it yet, but yeah, because I had to, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do the projection. So press OK, and then grab a spline here and go from here to here. And the same thing with this spline. Nice and thick. Okay, so that looks good. Exit the sketch. And then, of course, forget to delete, forget to trim this one away. To trim that. And trim that as well. And now exit the sketch. And then we're just going to project this curve from this point, this line, and this sketch here. So now we have these curves here to work with as well. So let's jump over to second display state. And then now we have some stuff to work with, right? So that V large is widerly outer, widerly more sticking out a little bit more than the inner one, but not so much, as you can see here. And that area here is just sticking out a little bit as well. So that's exactly what we're looking for. So that a line here is perpendicular with this one here, and then of course the rest of the body here. Okay, so we're kind of looking for these lines here. All right. So to further continue with this surface here, let's have a look at the picture. And then okay, so we have this surface here, and then we have this line here. We haven't cut out yet, so just we have to imagine that there's a straight line. So we need to create some curvatures. There's one curvature that is going to go from this point to this point, and then there's one curvature that's going to go from this point to this point here. I'm not sure if we could do the whole face in the same time. Probably not. So we're just going to grab this section here, and then we add the rest of the section on top of that one after. So, right, so one here and one from this corner all the way back here. Okay, so we need to determine, and we need to find this point here. Okay, so to find that point, I'm going to jump over to the first display state, and then I'm going to click on that. And obviously, I'm going to make a sketch. And so this is the point that we are looking for here. That's the point there. So I'm going to grab a point. I'm just going to drop this point somewhere here. Okay. And once we drop that point, exit the sketch. And I'm going to grab a 3D sketch and grab a 3D center line. And of course, I want to be on the YZ plane. So YZ, right? And then it's going to be a straight out construction line here. So if we jump into the picture again, we can see that that point is this point here, and it's actually it's at the edge of this rear tail light here and a little bit in. So let's jump into this top view here, and we are still in 3D sketch. So let's grab that 3D point now that we are in 3D sketch, and that point is going to fall somewhere around here, right? So drop that point there, and then let's have a look. And then we are looking good on that area there, right? A little bit in what we are looking for. Let's jump over to second display state. Right. Okay. And then we're going from that point to our corner. So let's grab a spline, and I'm gonna go from this point to the sharp edge of this curvature here, and that should be somewhere around here. Okay. And now I'm going to bring up the first display state and just click on that plane here. And then we want to add some profile to that curvature. Maybe a little bit, not too much, right? Because we're going to trim that back. So this is where we're going to trim this surface back. So it did go. If this surface is not here, we could see that this one connecting here and one coming all the way from that area there. So that profile curvature should look something like this. And that looks good. Next is the sketch. Well, actually, let's go back in here, edit the sketch. And let's have a look from the top as well. All right, so our curvature is leaning in a little bit. Let's have a look at the picture. So it does comes in a little bit, not too much though. So that's the outside, that's the that's line. I want to be able to see where the lines up. So that's probably enough for us. Just be precise here. And then maybe we're going to add a little bit of profile to that. Not too much. All right, so that looks good from the top as well and from the side. And let's jump over to the second display state here. Right. Let's just have a look again from the blueprinted plane. So we have these two lines here. I don't know why this one is not coming down all the way is because this line is not long enough. So we need to edit this line so that will touch down all the way where we want to. So edit the sketch, normal to profile. I'm just going to pull that all the way here, and that should fix that issue. So now we're coming all the way down. So let's come in here in the second display state, and then we are in flush with that ledge. Okay. So we are flush with that edge is what we're looking for. All right. So now let's grab a 3D sketch here, which is going to be a 3D spline. I'm not going to start from the edge. I'm going to start here like always, and I'm just going to snip on that area there. I'm going to pull this point down until it stops, and then it's, you know, for sure that now it's touching on the edge. Okay, and then we're gonna cut here, and we're actually looking good because that with this area here, the surface will come out here in this area. So if you have a look at the picture here, we can see that there's a curvature that comes out to here, and we will follow that. So let's just jump into the top quickly, and we're going to add a little bit of profile to that, something like this. Maybe we added a little bit too much, but let's have a look how it looks, and then we can take off some of that profile if we need to. Okay, and then we just need to connect these lines here, 3D sketch with that spline, and then to this point, and then pull this to the end. Press OK, and now this is one closed surface, except we need to add our another 3D sketch on this area here. So let's add that 3D sketch here. Okay, that looks good. So now when you select this, it will select this one automatically. Okay, so exit the sketch. I'm gonna go ahead and start add some surfaces here. So boundary surface, I'm going to first create these two here. So that looks good. Don't need to add a profile onto that surface. And then let's just hide these curvatures and hide this curvature as well. Okay, and then let's try now add this surface here. So I'm going to add field surface. I'm going to choose this, and it will choose that side. It will choose this side automatically as well. We choose these two, and this one, and then this edge here. Okay, so we're not going to add tangency to this corner here because it don't have it. I press OK. All right, so we have that surface, and then as I'm saying, it looks pretty good from this angle here. That looks pretty good there. And then now we need to add that top section there. So if we have a look at the top section, so right, so we have this surface here, this triangle lookalike that we need to create first, that falls onto this corner. And once we have this surface created here, we can tackle and then create this area here, this surface here. Okay, so let's jump into our model, and then that surface comes off straight. So let's come in from the side view here, and then let's grab a 3D point, and it comes off straight from about there, from about here. Okay, and then let's have a look at the picture again. Right, so it's not that big, and then it comes, that triangle shape comes to about midway of that line. We can see from here a lot better. We don't see the top section, that top section area. Okay, so it falls somewhere midway, right? So somewhere here. Okay, so let's grab the spline and go from here to somewhere in the middle. That will fall all the way like that. And if we want to close off this line with this one here. All right, and then we also want to add another curve, 3D curve from this end. Obviously not from there. Control Z to get that off, and then grab the spline and then go from the black dot once that shows, and then we want to stay on this line here. Okay. And then we're going to exit the sketch and hide this line. And the one that we just made, it stays in place. Okay, and now let's try and do a fill surface with these lines, and this edge here. And that creates that surface there. We don't need to add tangency. Press OK. And then that surface looks good. And then the second surface is going to be from this edge point here, somewhere here. So we need to determine that point as well. So let's jump into the first display state here. Let me see how much time we have left. We still have. So right. So let's jump in here and make a sketch here on the front plane. And then the point that we are looking for is this point here. So let's grab that point and drop it here. But before we do that, let's convert some entities. I want to convert this entity here. I want to pull this all the way up, so that just to make sure that we are going to be straight with our surfaces. I'm going to grab that point and then drop that point somewhere there. All right. I'm going to trim out this line here. Okay, so our point is still in place, and then it is straight with the other one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to exit this sketch here, and I grab a 3D sketch. And it's going to be a center line from this point. Right? And we want the YZ, so press tab on your keyboard to jump into YZ and Z. Okay, and then basically the point is going to fall. It's going to fall you're looking at the top, it's going to fall uh, on the top of maybe at the end of the spoiler, right? Or the somewhere in the mid sections of the headlight. Okay, so let's have a look what we can see from the top. Yeah, so that point actually falls. That point falls somewhere here, somewhere in here, about that far. Okay, so exit this sketch just to make sure that we will be on 3D sketch here. So 3D sketch and the 3D point. That's that there, and it will fall somewhere here. Okay, so let's have a look what we can do with that point there. Okay, so that looks good. And then of course we need to grab the curve here, the spline, and just go from that point to this edge, surface edge right there. And then let's just jump to the top here quickly. And we're going to add our profiles to that curvature. So something like that will work. It's probably a straight. So like that. And then let's jump to the side view here. And then of course we need to follow this curvature here. So like so here, and then bring that a little bit lower. Okay, so that looks good. And exit the sketch. And I jump over to the second display state. And then let's jump over to surfaces and connect these two surfaces together. This surface, hope it won't freeze on me now. Okay, so this surface and this surface here, and press OK. And let's just add a 3D spline from this point to this point here, and exit the sketch. And now let's try and add our boundary surface. The selection manager, this and this point here, press OK, and then this line. And it's probably going to give us something there, but we can fix that later on. With probably a fill surface. So let's add tangency on this line here. Direction to vector. Now I'm just going to change it to tangency to face. All right, so once it greens out, then you know that we're all good. So let's have a look. All right, so we do have tangency here, what we were looking for. And a beautiful dent as well. And then we have this area here. Okay, and then let's see how much time we have left. We still have a little bit left. So I do like the tangency here, but this section here is not good for us. So let's delete this surface. Okay, and then let's add back the 3D sketch from this point to this corner. Okay, let's try and create our fill surface now. So surface is fill surface, and hopefully this will solve our problems. Okay, and then for contact on this area, going to add tangency, and then on this contact, let's add tangency or none. just contact, and then let's have a look at our surface now. Right. So that surface is even worse than the bonder surface. So let's delete that. Okay, and let's try maybe loft surface. So profiles, select this one, this one, this one, and that surface there. Obviously won't do it. All right. So let's go back to field surface and select these edges again. Right, and press OK without tangency. Okay, so this looks a little bit better than the other one, and we can add a tangency later on to that area there. Okay, so let's remove these lines. You can see a little bit better. All right, and then of course we will fix this area up in the next tutorial. Let's trim out some of these profiles here. So let's jump over to the first display state. So let's trim out this area here, and then in the next tutorial we create the windshield and then fix up this area here. Okay, so let's drop the glass on this area here. Let's drop it on the whole car, and not car yet, but so, and then make a sketch on the front plane. All right, and then we want to create the curvature that trims out from this area there. So let's grab the curvature there, and it comes from this section here. To the, and maybe come out like that. And just click on the line and add your control polygon. Right. Just a matter of fixing up this curvature here. Right. So you know, something I need to say that I think the guy who designed this C8 Corvette added a lot of busy stuff on this design, and probably he shouldn't. But as you can see, once you start designing the vehicle yourself, you actually kind of see what the designer intended to do. So that's that curvature. Maybe make it a little bit more sharp here. Okay, so that looks good. And then exit the sketch. And then I jump over to trim surface, and obviously we're going to trim this area here. Okay, and now let's just take off that blue glass, remove appearance. All right, and then let's remove this line here like that, and let's just jump over to our second display state. Okay, and then let's mirror this section over to the other side just to see how does it look. So mirror, and then front plane, and then body mirror. And let's do this whole door assembly as well. Okay, so we're going to leave this tutorial here, and then in the next tutorial we will continue with the windshield and the rest of the body parts. Okay, see you back in the next tutorial.